Hey guys, how's it going? Heidi back again, working on the van over here in beautiful Ohio. Got the beautiful barn in the background. The leaves are starting to pop. I'm loving it. It's nice. Got the barn all opened up. Finally, this is only like the second time I've been out here working on this van where I've been able to actually open the barn up, because I've been doing this work all winter. Phoebe, come here. Come here. Alright, so let me talk about what we're working on here today. When I say we, I mean the dog and the cats, who really don't contribute much to getting this built other than sitting around and looking cute and keeping me from going completely nuts doing this project. Alright, so come here, baby. Good girl. Let's see. Yeah, so I got back from the road on Thursday night. Yesterday was Friday. I had to run a bunch of errands, and then I finally made it out here pretty late last night. And I was trying to finish up this plywood work, so got quite. Oops, hang on. I got quite a lot of plywood up on the walls in here, and I've started doing some painting on the ceiling. I got the plywood up. I actually started building a cabinet here. Got this wall up and painted. So last night I was working on this back wall, and like I said, it was my first day back from the road, from my truck driving job. This time around, I decided to work 3 weeks straight without taking a day off. I think I had like a couple days where I had like half a day. So I'm just trying to earn as much money as possible right now to build up my emergency fund and my savings so that I can finish buying some of the components for the van. I still have to purchase the, hang on a second, the roof hatch that's going to go up there, which is pretty expensive. And jump up there, baby. That's her little stool to help her get into the bed. I also had to purchase, my electrical, my solar panels. I had to purchase some C-channel and some other fixtures to install a DIY roof rack. What else? I need a small water heater, and I think that's pretty much it. Next year I'm going to upgrade. In 2026, I'm going to put in a mini split up here on this back wall. But this year I'm just going to kind of make do. I do have a portable air conditioner that I plan on bringing in here. It'll probably sit right here. And then I can run the hose into the front here and out the passenger side window. I'm going to have to get a reducer for that hose, so that I can get it to go from the air conditioning unit. And I'm probably going to need about 3 or 4 feet of hose to get it to the window. And then I'm going to build a device that'll fit in the top of the window so that I can roll the window up and it'll be fixed in place. And then the hose will be right there to exhaust the heat from the air conditioning unit. And I'm just going to use that portable one this summer. But also, another thing that I'm going to do to combat the heat in the summer is I'm just not going to come home. That's what I did last year. I'm not a fan of the heat. Being an older woman, I'm just not a fan of the heat. So what I did last year, because last year I was living out of my cargo trailer when I wasn't on the road, and I was using that portable air conditioner, and it wasn't really doing a very good job. It was just too hot to be staying in that cargo trailer during summer. So what I did in July and August of last year, I just stayed out on the road for 2 months straight. And I took my days off out there on the road. The nice thing about that is the company truck that I drive is a new Freightliner, and it's very luxurious. It's got really great air conditioning and heat, and It has an inverter, and I have a refrigerator. So I have everything I need in that truck to be able to live, and it's climate controlled so that I don't get overheated and my animals don't get overheated. So like I said, last summer I just stayed out on the road for 2 months straight, and I was also able to make, lots of money by doing that over the summer. So this summer, depending on what the weather's like, I'm probably going to do the same thing and just stay gone. And then when it starts to cool off in September, then I'll start coming back again. Anyway, let me get on to what I'm working on today here. So I went by my storage unit yesterday. I have a 5x10. I don't have a whole lot of stuff. I don't have any furniture or anything like that. So basically all the stuff in my storage unit is in some really nice quality boxes that are easily stackable. They're all the same size. And I just have like stuff for my kitchen, which is going to end up in this van. Seasonal clothing. I have a couple of small appliances that are going to go in the van. What else do I have in there? Some other tools that I'm not using right now. My miter saw is in there. My circular saw is in there. I've just been using my friend's miter saw. He has a better miter saw than me anyway. His is much bigger and it's better quality. And I've been using his circular saw too. So let's see. What else is in that storage unit? My bicycle's in there. So I don't have a whole lot in there, but I was in a 5x10 unit, and everything was packed in so tightly I couldn't even get to anything. So I went over there yesterday and got a bigger unit, a 5x, let's see, what did I say, 5x10? I got a 10x10. So now all my stuff fits in there, and there's plenty of room for me to go in there, walk around, get into things. I'm going to try to do another purge and see if I can reduce the stuff in that storage unit down to even less so that maybe I can move back into a smaller unit. But it's a pretty decent price. All right, so what I was working on yesterday, I was trying to get the rest of the Luan on this wall. But like I said, I had been out running errands all day, and by the time I started doing work, I was super tired. I wasn't feeling very good. And I didn't do a very good job cutting these panels. These two pieces look okay, but this top one, you can see there's all these gaps back here, and there's a huge gap at the top, which is a little over 1/2 inch. That is not going to work. So I'm going to have to take this panel out and cut another one that's taller and then put it back in. And that's a shame that I don't know how it didn't come out. Well, actually, maybe I do know. Because it's a little bit taller on this side than this side. So maybe that's where I made the mistake. Even though I measured both sides, I must have goofed it up somehow. Anyway, another thing I want to work on today is getting the boxes in these windows. So I went out to Lowe's and bought some 1x8s. So I wanted to make sure I got wood that's deep enough to where my cats can climb up here and sit in the windows on both sides. So I'm trying to work on those. You might notice there's some water stains over here. This is something I discovered when I got back. I got some water stains on this wood. As you know, I put this window in last time. And when I came home from the road and I got into the van, I was kind of in a panic when I saw the water stains on the wall because immediately I was thinking, oh my God, the windows are leaking. So I inspected my windows. It turns out they're not leaking. I've got the weather stripping, and I also have a layer of butyl tape, and I thickened the walls in here to make sure the windows are nice and tight and there's no gaps. I'll show you guys this again one more time. Whoa. Yeah, you can see here I got butyl tape. And these windows, if I try to pull on them, they're nice and tight. There's no gaps. And same thing over here on this side. Hang on a second. Whew. Yeah. You can see the butyl tape sticking out here. I mean, these windows are, if I pull, there's no gaps. So what I think is happening here is butyl tape. I think it's just condensation from the metal on the windows. And then it's dripping onto that Luan, and it left water stains. So what I need to do to fix this issue is deck stain and sealant. I love deck stain and sealant. It's awesome. So I put deck stain and sealant on the inside of the doors on my cargo trailer. It had 3 doors. I put that deck stain and sealant on there. And on the inside of the doors on those cargo trailers, they actually have the real thin Luan like I'm using here. I covered it with 3 layers of deck stain and sealant. And I've never had any compromising on those doors. I've never had any moisture getting into the wood grain because of that deck stain and sealant. It works extremely well in my view. The water just wicks right off of it. So that's what I'm going to have to do with the wood I put in here. The deck stain and sealant. All right, what's next? Here's something new. I ordered these really pretty curtains. Hang on a second. Good Lord. Why won't this... Oh, okay. Yeah. So... Oh, that's why I've got a pen. I've got a pen right here. So anyway, I thought it'd be nice to have some curtains back here. And like I've talked about, this entire bed area is going to be, all the walls are going to be this white color, this off-white color, which is kind of a linen color. So I ordered these really nice curtains with this really cool Aztec motif, which I think matches my Aztec blankets beautifully. But because the curtains are... they're linen, they're a very light color, and they're somewhat see-through. Those will be lovely to go on the windows here. And then I've already pinned them the length I want them, and I'm going to hem them. And they were a really nice price. They weren't expensive, so that's cool. Also, I got this Luan up here. I'm going to go ahead and paint that to match this. And... like I said, I'm going to build these boxes in the windows. Once I get these boxes, this window ledge and these boxed in areas, then you won't be able to see any of this foam insulation. And then eventually, oh my gosh. Eventually, once I get this more finished, I'm going to add shelves up top here like this. And those will go on both sides all the way down. This will be a nice place. And I'll put a little lip on the edge like this. That'll be a nice place for the cats to hang out, or a place for me to store stuff. All right, one last thing I'll talk about, and then I'm going to get to work. Jeez. Okay. I finally finished this curtain. It's got these sliders. And then I added these buttons to hold these metal loops to, yeah, that way I can remove the curtain when it needs washed. All right, back here, what we got going on? So my friend wanted me to get, hey kitty cat, he wanted me to get all my building materials out of the barn because he's gonna do some spring cleaning and stuff in here. So, because I have this nice storage closet on the back of my van, I was able to put what remains of my building materials in the back. So I just got some boards of varying thicknesses and lengths. And then I still have some Luan pieces, some insulation, not much insulation left. I need to finish insulating this wall. And then, hopefully today, I'm going to get the rest of the plywood up on this back wall. And like I've talked about in other videos, once I get all the plywood up back here, I'm going to install brackets and hooks back here. And then all my tools that are in banker's boxes right now will go against this back wall and be organized in a really nice manner. So yeah, I'm really loving the fact that I put this storage area in back here. And like I talked about, I made a little opening, a little pass-through. And I'm actually going to put a removable screen in here. And then eventually I'm going to put a window in the back door. And then from the bed area, I'll have windows on both sides. And I'll have a window in the back door. And I'll be able to see out through this little pass-through. So this pass-through is already come in really handy. Even though I've got this wall back here, I've been finding it a good way to, when I go to, when I want to put items in the van and I don't want to deal with the cats trying to get out the sliding door, because I have this, I also have this area back here where the cats can get to their litter box, but this is a much smaller area to control them, and I can open the back door and throw things in onto the bed in here. Hey, Phoebe, you sweet puppy. All right, guys, that's all I got for right now. Thanks for following along. Good luck on your builds, and if you have any questions about any of the stuff I'm doing here, let me know. Oh, I forgot to show you guys one other thing. Hang on. Yeah. So while I was at my storage unit, I grabbed a few things out, and one of the things I grabbed was a set of stairs. So, I bought a set of stairs for my cargo trailer 3 years ago. I ordered them online, and it was supposed to be a wood frame with, a metal frame with wood treads. And when it showed up, it had the metal frame, which was awesome. But the treads were made out of particle board. I'm like, and they had it advertised as a set of stairs that you would use for a camper. So they'll be outdoors. I'm like, this isn't going to hold up with the particle board. And it didn't. It rained one time and it was destroyed. So I ended up taking the treads off and pitching them. And I made wood treads to go onto that set of stairs. Well, then I have 2 cargo trailers. So I ended up patterning this set of stairs. I actually made these from scratch. And I patterned them off of that one that I bought online. I just used the way they had it framed. I just used their design. And I made a bigger set to go for my bigger trailer. And then the way I made these, I just used 2x2s for the frame of the steps. And then I used 1x6 on this tread. And I used a 1x6 here and a 1x4 here. These were just scrap pieces of wood I had laying around. So what I did is I just sanded them really nicely. I clear coated them with a polyacrylic with several layers of that. And then the 2x2 framing that I made out of just simple wood, which is basically this stuff, 2x2s. That's all I used was these cheap 2x2s. I covered these with several layers of deck stain and sealant. And then these stairs have been outdoors for long periods of time. And they've held up beautifully because of that. Look at that. That deck stain and sealant. None of this wood shows any signs of water damage or weather because I used the deck stain and sealant. It's great stuff. And these are really hardy, heavy-duty stairs. So anyway, while I was at the storage unit, I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot about these because I was just using a little cheap plastic stair for this van. And then I'm like, go get the stairs you made out of the storage unit and bring those over here. So now I can get in and out of the van a lot more easily. This is what I was using, this little flimsy plastic step. Now I have these really nice steps. Anyway, yeah, that's what I try to do. I try to take scrap pieces of wood like I did with this little stool for the dog and this toilet I made for myself. I just use scrap pieces of wood and just throw these things together. Alright, that's all I got for right now, guys. Hopefully this is helpful to someone, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.